Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to Guam. I'm starting this video from the hotel this time because this has been an interesting experience here in Guam as far as the tropical storm has gone. So I wanted to update you all on that before I got the rest of this video started. So I was originally booked directly from Guam to Tokyo on a flight at 12:45 in the afternoon. That flight was canceled and they rebooked me on a 5 p.m. direct flight from Guam to Tokyo Narita. That was then delayed to 7:30 p.m. Additionally, there was an option that I could leave Guam at 8 in the morning, connect in Saipan in the Northern Mariana Islands, and then go to Tokyo from there. And I did choose to do that. That was my plan. But then the flight at 8 in the morning was canceled. So I've kind of been stuck in Guam this morning, which is fine. I can't really do much exploring because of the tropical storm. I actually lost power briefly in the hotel earlier, which was an interesting experience. But it's all good though. I'm not really too worried. It is what it is, and I can only control what I can control. So my plan right now is the same way that United originally rebooked me, which is that flight that was originally at 5 and has then been pushed back, delayed to 7:30. I'm going to be interested to see if anything changes. My hotel checkout time is at noon, which is coming up rapidly. So I am going to have to go outside pretty soon. The weather in the tropical storm, the worst seems to have passed. It actually hasn't been all that bad. The wind gusts have maybe been 40 to 50 miles an hour, which, while definitely something to take seriously, isn't anything extreme or anything that I'm too freaked out about. I wouldn't want to be outside in this weather right now, so I'll probably go to a mall or a bookstore or something and just try to hang out until I can go to the airport and check in for my flight. So this is going to be a really interesting video. I can say my flight got canceled because of a tropical storm, typhoon, and that would not be clickbait. So that probably is what I will title this video. But I'll check in with you guys at the airport, assuming that I can get out of Guam today. And I really hope so, because this is going to be my first time in Tokyo, my first time in Asia at all. And I'm really excited to get on the ground and explore a little bit. So I'll catch in with you guys back then. Hey everybody, welcome to Guam International Airport, and we are all set for our flight. This has been perhaps the most unbelievable check-in process of my entire life, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So when I checked in, I asked if I could be swapped from the 7:30 to Narita to the 7:05 to Haneda. Narita is a lot further away from downtown Tokyo where I'm staying than Haneda is, and the agents were very kind and made that change for me, and I still have a window seat, which is really awesome. And then I got to the TSA line, and I am not exaggerating when I say that there was literally nobody in the line, not in the pre-check line, not in the regular screening line, just nobody in the TSA line. I've never seen it before, and I probably never will see it again. The only time where it was even close was early COVID. I flew home from college in California to my home in Jersey, and there was very, very, very few people traveling at that point, but nothing like this. I mean, let me show you around the airport here. Nobody over that way, and almost nobody over that way. I'm speechless. I'm never gonna see this again. I do have access right over in front of me is a lounge that I have access to with Priority Pass, the Sagan Basita VIP lounge. So I'm gonna give that a shot. One more thing that I want to say is that today worked out to be a really good day. Because my flight earlier got canceled and the weather did calm down a little bit earlier than people thought it was going to, I actually had the opportunity to drive around the whole island of Guam and be able to check out how awesome this place is. There were some awesome views. It was really just an amazing day, and I'm really grateful that my flight ended up getting canceled so that I was able to experience everything that I was able to experience today. It just goes to show that things kind of work out for the best sometimes, and things that are out of your control, let them be. the Sagan Basita Lounge in Guam was overall pretty good. I'm going to take you through it now, kind of showing you the drinks and the food and the seating that was available. This was very easy to film because there was almost nobody here, which was super convenient. And that was because of all the cancellations earlier in the day. But as far as Priority Pass lounges go, this one was pretty solid. There were hot food options, cold food options, plenty of beverage options, and I can't imagine this lounge ever being anywhere even close to full. So I think that this is pretty much everything that you want out of a Priority Pass lounge. It's not going to match up to your Chase Sapphire lounges or a first class lounge, but this is plenty fine for what you need. And now I'm just going to take you all a walk through what the Guam airport looks like. Just because this is something that I'd be interested in, and I'm sure that some of you are as well. It really hasn't gotten more busy. A lot of the flights are delayed tonight, so they're taking off a little bit later. But regardless, this airport feels entirely too large for what it is. I mean, you can see here, like, we have shops that are gated shut and stuff like that, and they look like they haven't been occupied in a long time. Looking back at like the history of Guam and the aviation that came in here, it doesn't seem like there would have ever been a point where they could have needed this much space. So I really would love to know why this is like this, and if anybody has any ideas, please let me know. I know that recently there was a big investment from the government of Guam to pour money into the airport to pretty much make it more attractive for visitors. And a lot of the visitors to Guam are actually from Asian countries, China, South Korea, Japan, and it makes it so it's actually a very interesting culture here. You have like kind of a mix of like that Polynesian island culture, American culture, and Asian culture. As you can see, like this airport is just completely dead. And usually these automated walkways would be running, but they're boarded shut. And looking at the flights that are taking off and have taken off, it looks like this entire wing of the airport is not really used, which is interesting. There's honestly a lot of comfortable seats here. Bathrooms are clean, everything's very clean. And this, in so many ways, reminds me of what it was like traveling during COVID. I obviously, like I was saying earlier, I flew back from California to New Jersey early on in the pandemic, in March till 2020. And when I arrived at Long Beach Airport in March of 2020, it was pretty much the only thing that even comes close to reminding me of this. And this is probably still even more quiet than that. If anybody has any interesting stories about flying during the pandemic, I would love to hear them in the comments below. My connecting flight from Long Beach was in Denver. I was flying with Southwest, and there were 3 passengers on my entire plane back from Denver, which kind of still mind-blowing for me to think about, but obviously I understand why there weren't people flying at the time. Look at this. This is a restaurant that normally be open. Let's see what that sign says. Yeah, it just says closed. But at least this looks occupied. It doesn't look abandoned. So that's nice. Well, it looks like we're getting a little bit more busy here. Yeah, look at all the stores we got over here. I will say there was a lot of duty-free shopping that we walked through right over here to get into the passenger terminal. So this place is popping quite a bit more than it was earlier, but still, I mean, this is empty. I'm sure that a lot of you have had experiences in international airports in the duty-free areas, and it really is, this is nothing. This is really nothing. I'll walk over to the other gates and see what things are like over there. I think it'll be a little busier, but we'll see. I am not gonna lie, it still seems pretty quiet over here. At least we do have the walkway heading towards these gates open. I think it's pretty telling that the other side, the way to the gates that don't seem to be running flights,
is closed. I guess there's really hardly ever a reason for somebody to go over in that direction. All right, so now over at the other side, it still seems pretty quiet. Not as quiet, obviously, but wouldn't be hard to find an open seat here. My gate is gate 15 over there. We're boarding relatively soon, actually. We board, I believe, within half an hour. And I see some people over there, but not enough to fill up a 737. And I think it's safe to say that even at the boarding area, things were not much more busy. I know that I've spent a lot of time walking around the airport in this video, but I think that this is a really unique and interesting airport, and I really wanted to highlight it. Now, this plane was rather full, so I was glad to see that at least there are a lot of people traveling to Japan. This flight was about 95% Japanese people, and then 5% tourists, which would be a lot different than what you see in the mainland. Honestly, the seat was pretty tight for a 6'4" guy like me, but it's economy, so I didn't really expect anything else. The fleet that United operates out of Guam is 737s only, and they actually rotate every few years because of all the rust that they accumulate while based in Guam. There was an in-flight entertainment screen that was pretty much exactly what we had on the Island Hopper yesterday, and it had the same movies. It looks like DirecTV, but there's no actual live TV. And even though the movie selection wasn't particularly large, I do feel that there were high-quality movies, which is nice and perfectly fine for a 4-hour flight like this. There was also a remote to control the screen. That's just what you would typically see in the US. Hey everyone, I am now airborne from Guam, and this is going to be about a 4-hour flight into Tokyo, Haneda tonight. We are going to be getting a meal service, so my plan is definitely to stay up at least until I get the meal, maybe take a short nap because I'm starting to get a little bit tired, and then just kind of relax for the rest of this flight. I'm really looking forward to getting into Tokyo. Even though I'll be getting a little bit late, I still want to see if there's anything I can do on the ground when I arrive, so really hoping to have as much energy as possible to be able to do that. And here it is. We had bread, which was not great, a salad, which didn't really look like a salad, some chicken with vegetables that was okay, and honestly the best part of this dinner was the Milky Way. Milky Ways are great candies, so always going to be happy with that, but overall, not a great meal service, and I think United could do better. So on a night flight like this, there's obviously not a lot of scenery, but I still think that there's something very relaxing to just hearing the sounds of a plane and experiencing air travel. It's something that is really special and that we take for granted a lot. After this, I pretty much knocked out immediately, and I fell asleep for the vast majority of this flight. We are now on approach to Tokyo. I was able to sleep a good bit on the second half of that flight, and waking up was rough. I think my body thought that I was asleep for the night, which evidently was not the case. Anyways, we should be on the ground here in about half an hour or so, and I'm looking forward to that. This flight was pretty good. I think that Delta could learn a little bit about how to fly from the West Coast to Hawaii based on how this flight was, given how much shorter it is. But, yeah, no complaints really. So now that we're on approach into Tokyo, it's time to talk a little bit about the pricing for this flight and what I thought about it overall. I ended up paying miles on this flight that I transferred over from Chase Ultimate Rewards points, and it only cost 20,000 United miles plus a surcharge of $5.60. I feel that this is exceptional value as it's close to 2 cents per point, and for economy, that's amazing. Overall, I came into this flight with the expectation that it would be similar to a US domestic flight since it was a narrow body flight that was only about 4 hours. I ended up being impressed and I thought it was better than that. The meal service was pretty good to have, the crew was very good, and the seat was not great, but at least it was somewhat comfortable. And honestly, just being on a narrow-body US plane in Japan was pretty awesome, so I'm glad to be able to do that at least.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Tokyo. This is going to be the end of this video, and overall it was a pretty solid flight with United. I was pretty impressed by the service that they had on what was ultimately about a 4-hour flight. Flight attendants were great, food was not amazing, but at least there was a dinner, and I was able to get some good rest and get to my hotel in Tokyo last night. So I will see you all in the next video where we are starting the business class portion of our journey. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Thank you and have a good day.